Oh, hello, everybody. Oh, what is it today? It was day 7 of training camp, and we saw a lighter practice. I think Friday is going to be a heavier day. Second day is always heavier. So, um, yeah, a few things that are concerning. Juwan Jennings still not back. Um, Kyle Shanahan seemed positive about Diamond Lenore coming back, maybe after this block of practices. So they practice today, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They have Sunday off, Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday off. Thursday is the joint practices with Denver Broncos. So looks like Diamond Lenore is going to miss Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Everybody's off Sunday. And then Monday, everybody will return to practice. Not so positive about Jordan James. Jordan James has dealing with knee issues, and he may not return for some time. So they're going to take their time with him. They're going to reevaluate him a little bit. Didn't sound great about Jordan James. So if you're just joining in, Juwan Jennings still out. No timetable on that at all. No timetable on Jordan James. And hopefully Diamond Lenore comes back in the next block of practices. Still out. Renardo Green, Jacob Cowing, those guys are going to be back hopefully the week of the joint practices in Las Vegas, which are going to be hot AF. That should be fun. If you're going to the preseason games at all, just let me know. I will try to be around the bowl area, the lower level, field level area, both pre-games. All right, so if you haven't been keeping up with the news, Teron Jackson was placed on IR, and at least he was up and functioning and doing well, because it was really scary there for a moment. So let's see here. The 49ers did have quite a few transactions today. I'm going to move this a little bit here. And let's see here. So today, return to practice. Ricky Pearsall, we saw him return to practice. Michael Williams, again, that ankle injury was minor, thankfully. Ben Barch back in practice, upgraded off the NFI list. So he was out there, and he was out there quickly, working out with the ones. Trent Williams, Christian McCaffrey, Nick Bosa, Kyle Juszczyk all had rest days, nothing to be worried about. And again, Diamond Lenore, hip injury, working through that. Jordan James, knee injury, working through that. Probably will be a little bit longer. But the transactions that the 49ers did, they signed Amir Abdullah. He was out there already practicing running. Quarterback Carter Bradley, Gus Bradley's son. He was there for the tryouts on Wednesday, and then they ended up signing him. Wide receiver Marquez Callaway, and wide receiver Andy Isabella. So all of those guys 1-year deals. To make room for those guys on the roster, they released Equinemius St. Brown. They waived Sebastian Gutierrez, offensive lineman, Malik Knowles, and Jalen Mahoney. Jalen Mahoney's been around for a little bit of time. He's been active in games, but he's a guy who potentially they could bring back. They're going to try out these wide receivers. The wide receiver thing, because Juwan Jennings is out, because Ricky Pearsall is kind of on a work him back in situation. Jacob Cowing is out, so they've got to get more guys, more bodies in there. Who I've been impressed with is Russell Gage. He's been pretty good. He went up against Upton Stout in one-on-ones multiple times. A little bit of story there. I spoke to Upton Stout, and that is on the latest 49ers Talk that we just posted. Matt Maiocco and myself just did a 49ers Talk. It is out there. That's on 49ers Talk. So one-on-one with Upton Stout. The video's in there. He talks so fast. Fantastic guy. He's been playing really well. They've put him in there at nickel with the ones. So been exciting to see him in there. But his one-on-one reps with Russell Gage burned him, but he loves the competition from Upton Stout. Upton Stout loves working with Russell Gage. Russell Gage is a guy who probably will make the team and will probably get a lot of reps. Demarcus Robinson, again, could be suspended for up to 3 games. Juwan Jennings looking for a contract, dealing with a calf injury. Jacob Cowing dealing with a hamstring injury. Ricky Pearsall will be available as long as he stays healthy. He's been dealing with that hamstring injury kind of back and forth. He said today when he spoke to us that it wasn't necessarily a hamstring per se, but he said he needed to get everything in alignment. So that was interesting. So outside of that, good practice. We saw one-on-ones, and outside of Russell Gage kind of burning Upton Stout, there were some good reps. Let me see here. What was my list of reps today? I watched the wide receiver DB reps instead of watching the offensive line, defensive line reps today. Once those one-on-ones were done, then I did watch a little bit of offensive, defensive line. But I did hear from Matt Maiocco that while CJ West had a really, really good first 2 days of one-on-ones, just his bull rush, his power has been really noticeable. He did not have as good of a day on Thursday, according to Matt Maiocco. All right, so wide receiver versus defensive backs. Multiple times, Russell Gage did well. Junior Bergen had a great rep against Eli Apple, who's kind of getting his feet wet. And a new receiver, Andy Isabella, went up against Trey Avery, had a nice rep. Andy Isabella is a guy that the 49ers kind of know because he was at the Senior Bowl back in 2019 when they worked with Deebo Samuel. They drafted Deebo Samuel, obviously, but they liked Andy Isabella. I mean, he's fast. He has like 4.3 speed. I know had a really good 40. So I know the 49ers worked out Jeff Wilson Jr. They did not pick him up. They picked up Amir Abdullah. So one-on-ones, I saw Isaiah Nair have a good rep, really great separation, but it was broken up by a linebacker, defensive back, Jacob Robinson, who has been really good. Jacob Robinson has had pass breakups in almost every practice that we've seen so far. So yeah, I saw Andy Isabella have some good reps. I did see CJ West have one against Drake Nugent, and he won that one. I did see Michael Williams win a rep over Connor Colby, both rookies. Those guys have been doing a good job. I asked Kyle Shanahan today what he's seen from CJ West, and he said, man, that bull rush is really powerful. When you have that bull rush, the rest of his moves come alive. So I think that as much as CJ West, he was really active during minicamp, during OTAs, and now he's getting more reps during training camp. I think he's set to have a good season. I mean, he's a guy that has a lot of power. So he got a low center of gravity. He has a lot of strength. He gets leverage on offensive linemen. And there's a potential that he could be a rotational player for sure. I think he's going to get some reps in during games when the preseason starts. And I think he's a guy to watch. Michael Williams, obviously a guy to watch. Alfred Collins is a guy who's playing catch up a little bit because he missed OTAs, he missed minicamp. But I think he's going to get up to speed. He's just a guy who's huge dude. But Michael Williams, they're trying to, they're trying him on the outside. They're also trying him on the inside. So he's super versatile. And I think that's where Michael will have his, will be a weapon because he can line up on the outside, seal the edge, and then also line up on the inside. So definitely check out 49ers Talk and my discussion with Upton Stout. It was fun to talk. He talks so fast. I was transcribing to write the story about it, which is also on NBC Sports Bay Area. So check that out. But he talks so fast. He has been working with Deommodore Lenoir. He watched every single game of the 49ers last year, watched a ton of film on Deommodore Lenoir because he was so impressed at how he played nickel last year. And that's exactly what he wants to do. So, I mean, with that to look up to, and Deommodore Lenoir said, hey, yeah, he hit me up. He came over to the house. We got on the board. They discussed the defense. So he could be similar to Dominic Pooney's path last year. Dominic Pooney, remember, he got all the installation tapes, videos of Chris Verster, watched them all during the 40 days away. That is exactly what Upton Stout did. Watched all the film of all the 49ers defense, during 2024, watched everything Diamond Lenore did, wants to see what, the standards are and pass those standards is what he said. It's a guy who played football starting at 5 years old, baby. And while he's 5'9" and not very big, and you can on the field, when you see the whole defense lined up, he is probably the smallest guy on the field. I told him that Robert Saleh said, yeah, he's a great little player. I'm like, do you get offended by being called little? He's like, it is what it is, but it just adds a chip to the shoulder. So he's definitely got a chip on his shoulder, plays bigger than his size, and another guy that'll be fun to watch during preseason. It'll be fun to watch him during joint practices, and Nick Martin, another young guy who is getting a lot of reps because, there's competition there. He'll be fun to watch as well. But I do think D. Winters is the guy who's got that second position right next to Fred Warner locked up. He has really started to play well. Not that he started, but I mean, like Fred Warner said he was the MVP of the offseason last year. I think he's continued to grow. He dealt with some injuries last year. And I think now D. Winters, I mean, man, you can hear him hit. I don't know that necessarily Kyle Shanahan likes how heavy he's hitting right now, but you're hearing the pads pop when Nick Martin's on the field. And Upton Stout too delivers a blow. So it's been a fun practice, and this is day 7. So a little bit heavier day again with pads tomorrow. That's Friday. Outside of that, the biggest play of the day was from Brock Purdy to DeMarcus Robinson. He was being covered by Jason Pinnock. It was a deep pass. I mean, really nice one. A lot of people were asking, is Brock Purdy's deep pass so much better? I mean, Kyle Shanahan thinks that, basically he's had it this whole time. He just, it's when the opportunities come up. One of the better plays, Mac Jones to Junior Bergen, and then Nick Martin came up and forced the fumble. So not a lot of plays today. I mean, I'll show you my little list. Those plays. So it was that. And then some kicking, 4 for 4 on each side. They kicked from 33, 37, 43, and 54. Both Greg Joseph and Jake Moody hit all 4, we think, because the refs, again, were standing underneath the goalpost and did not signal. So I guess maybe they would signal if it was no good. I don't know. We're like, you're standing right there. Why don't you signal? So otherwise, D. Winters also had kind of like there was a fumble. He scooped and scored with the ball. 98 might have gotten some pressure. So, yeah, not a hugely exciting day. Pretty basic, mellow day, kind of ramping up for the big day tomorrow. So stay tuned. I will post some more. Check out NBCSportsBayArea.com. And, yeah, I'll have more stories. Upton Stout feature. Check that out. And also 49ers Talk podcast. All right. Hope you guys are well. Talk to you soon.